and we're about to dive into such a juicy, powerful, epic interview with none other than Kevin Castillo. This guy is a legend, one of the most driven, ambitious, positive, aspirational human beings that I know. A massive contribution in everywhere I see him on social media, various Facebook groups, in his own podcast, the Supercharged Life Podcast. Oh my gosh, this is Life Supercharged. This is we are getting life supercharged up in here. So definitely stay tuned. It's going to be a blast. And before we bring him on, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to become your greatest possible self. Thank you for taking the steps on this journey with us. And just keep plugged in, because that's one thing I've done. It's one thing Kevin does. And all the best people, they stay plugged into the sources of inspiration and the things that will really make a difference for us. So stay plugged in, okay? Next up is the iTunes review of the week. And this week, let's see who it's by. It's by CJ Hokama, who says, "Feed the burn. Chris's energy, enthusiasm, and zeal for his work is truly unmatched. He brings the absolute best in his guest, us, the listeners, as well as himself, when it matters the most in life, the present moment. This podcast is not just hoorahs and chest-pounding moments either. Chris and his guests deliver breakthrough tools and applicable life exercises in order for his audience to make being the greatest versions of themselves possible." CJ Hokama, thank you so much for giving us that review. And if you want a chance to get shouted out on a future 12-hour live stream, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on the Apple Podcast Store and give us a review there. Thank you so much in advance for doing that and supporting us on our growth, letting us know what you want to see more of, and stay plugged in, okay? I'm going to introduce Kevin in just a sec here. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen. This is going to be an amazing interview. We're going to go deep, and we're going to share, we're going to have a conversation about what it's like to be an entrepreneur, to be on the journey, to be out exploring and discovering and finding what works, because, I just really love having that student and that beginner's mind, and Kevin really comes with that. He's just a real dude, so definitely stay tuned, and let's get life supercharged, okay? Kevin Castillo is a true seeker, limiting belief crusher, and he looks and is committed to inspiring people that are lost and need direction to live a supercharged life. It wasn't easy for him. He is still on the journey to leaving job dependency to have the desired freedom he desires. And on this interview, he's going to explain how success was defined growing up and how success isn't a one-way street. He acknowledges that in order for him to do that, failure is a must. He has become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Kevin currently hosts the Life Supercharged Podcast, where he interviews people that are already crushing it in their industry and provides the stories and inspiration that got them where they are today. Kevin is currently writing a book that he plans to leverage as an opportunity to gain speaking engagements to get his word out to the masses and help people live a supercharged life and be their greatest possible selves. And we're blessed to have him here with us today. Kevin Castillo, are you ready to bring the heat, my man?
Let's bring it. Let's go.
Bringing it. We are live and become your greatest possible self, brother. Let's get this party started, man. Thank you for being here. And we want to know what is the meaning of holiday magic for you, bro? What does that mean for you?
Definitely, it's going to be something, family's always first. I always enjoy spending time with them and everything. Yeah. Kind of accepting what I've had this year, sure. Being thankful for what I've had and all what I've accomplished. Also, it's going to be a way for me to reflect on this previous year and reflect on what's going to come on through the following year. Sure. But yeah, every day is a new day for me. I'm always trying to crush it with where I'm at in life and everything. And I'm just looking forward to this holiday and spending it with my family.
Boom shakalaka. I love it, dude. I really feel like people who prioritize family, like my girlfriend, she's like the woman of my dreams. She's always talking about how much she values family. I'm always celebrating my family, my parents, being grateful for how they raised me. I find that people who like really love family they're usually like real, they're really, really loving, really caring, really kind, respectful people. So I acknowledge that that's a big part of you and who you are and how you show up, because you're a massive contribution to everyone around you, man. So I love that the holidays ignite that family commitment in you. So Kevin, tell us a little bit more about Life Supercharged, your podcast, and just what you're up to today. I mentioned it a little bit in your intro, but tell us what you stand for, man.
So I'm all about, like you said, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm all about trying to, chase the freedom I really desire.
Yep.
But yeah, I do have a podcast. I've had the whole idea of having one since late 2017. I pondered on the idea of it. I bought the microphone and everything, and I let it sit up in the closet for like almost 2 years. And I tried everything to get it going, but I was just a little bit confused on with all the information out there. And there's a lot of information. I think that anybody can do whatever they want with the amount of information. It's just a matter of how fast do you want to do it. And sometimes you need to really buckle down and say, okay, I really need to figure out what I'm going to do. And sometimes it means, getting in touch with a coach like you, of course. You're the whole reason behind the Life Supercharged podcast. We had our Thursday meetups, we talk weekly and everything, and you're always willing to support me. So I definitely appreciate you on that. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at right now. I'm in the process of writing a book. It has not launched yet. I intend to have it up, hopefully up and going, maybe January, February.
It's done. It's already done, man.
Yeah, it's done. And so, it wasn't easy for me to get where I am today. And, let me start off with, I'm not a coach. I'm not an expert or anything. I obviously am honored to be on your podcast. I was kind of like, what am I going to bring to the table to the audience? And the thing is like, I think everybody has something to bring to the table wherever they are in life, because there's always going to be somebody that, has something that they need help with that I might already know. Like, it took me a while. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. It took me like 2011 is whenever I started trying to figure out what I was going to do to make maximum dollar for minimal effort. And it got me all the way to this point right now where I was just kind of shuffling through all these different things. And so like I was saying, I had to figure out what it was I really wanted. I had to get around the people, and I had to, watch them and, follow their lead and everything.
Sure.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But I just feel that, I don't have the fancy Rolex. I don't have the Ferrari. I don't have the mansion or anything. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm still growing. I still have a job. I do enjoy my job. I love the people there. So just where I'm at right now and everything, I am very, very busy. I work 70 hours a week. I come home. I work on my podcast. I work on the upcoming episodes. I stay in contact with the people that have been on it or that are going to be on it. So I'm always about spreading the value, give, and just trying to make an impact. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. I just hope that I can touch someone's heart today that may feel lost or need direction. And, we just kind of go from there.
Bro, I love it, Kevin. I think one of your greatest assets that you might not even recognize is just how real you are, how motivated you are, how just on the journey sharing what's been going on. And you're connected to people, and you keep showing up, and you like post consistently on social media. You post a lot, dude. You post a lot of graphics and inspirational images and videos and things like that keep people encouraged and on the journey. So I really want to acknowledge you, man, that action is building over time. The planting of the seeds, whatever you've been doing since 2011, man, like it is manifesting already. So I just really want you to know that people notice, people's lives are being benefited because of you, because of how you show up, man. So it doesn't, for everyone who's listening in the audience too, you don't have to have everything all figured out. You don't have to be a millionaire to make a difference for other people. In fact, you're going to inspire people who might be a couple steps behind you, who aren't yet getting their message out on social media, who maybe don't feel confident sharing where they're at. Maybe they still are in a job and they feel like they can't add value to people. Maybe there's some people like that listening right now. And also the people who are a couple steps ahead of you, who might be like, man, I'm so overwhelmed and like, I don't know what to do next, or I feel like tired and exhausted. My life's not perfect. And they see you and they're like, damn, if Kevin could do it, like, look at all this that I got, all this opportunity, all these things that are working well. Like, if Kevin can do it, I can do it. So just know that no matter where people are at, whether they're quote unquote ahead of you in the success, financial success, business, entrepreneurial success, or quote unquote behind you, a couple steps behind you, either way, you can really make a difference for them, man. So I want to go back into your journey and especially talk about the defining moments that built you up to where we are today. I know health was a big part of your journey and being more healthy. Tell us a little bit more about that and how that played a big part in your personal development.
So yeah, health is a big thing for me. Believe it or not, I used to weigh close to 300 pounds back in 2004. I tried everything to lose the weight. I just wasn't willing to, starve myself or whatever. And I just realized I needed to make changes. I made changes, but then somewhere down the line, 2010, 2011, well, actually, let me back up. 2008, I kind of started getting into the whole working out scene, taking every supplement imaginable,
Yep.
forcing myself to work out when I was tired. Poor diet, everything led up to 2012, major anxiety, panic attacks. I just had a lot of issues with, I had to figure out what it was that was causing me to have these issues, and everything boiled down to diet and stress is real bad. And so now I'm real cautious. My health is, on point. I am improving. So I am, working out regularly, not as much as I would like, but I am going to jump back on the wagon. And that's one thing that I had to stress. And like I said, I'm no health expert, but you have to listen to your body. If your body's telling you to rest, you better rest. Because I was a person that was working out 5-6 days a week, even when I was tired working 12, 13-hour days. I was forcing myself to do it. And little did I know what I was doing, that I was going to start bringing on issues. So let your body be your guide, and, look at what you eat and everything, and always, be cautious of what's going through your mind all the time, because that can contribute to a lot of things.
Amen. Dude, I really appreciate you sharing that, because whether you're a bodybuilder or whether you're just trying to get into better shape, like pushing yourself past your limits, it just doesn't work, and I think a lot of us have been conditioned. We got to work, grind our face off. And there's part truth to that. It is important to have good work ethic. It is important to give your best. But my girlfriend, she like really injured her knees from pushing herself when she was competing. She wanted to like really get into the best body shape of her life, and she wasn't listening to her body and was just pushing herself on the Stairmaster and just keep going. And so she's had to like really take care of her knees ever since that point where she pushed herself too far. So I think rest is such an undervalued, understated thing in our lives. And I know you track your rest, you track like your sleeping and stuff to make sure that you're getting the best. Yeah, the Aura Ring. So tell us a little bit more about life hacking and health hacking, because I know that's like a part of your journey too, to really optimize everything that you're doing.
Yeah, it's real tough. Like I was saying, I work like 70 hours a week. So I'm always having to stay on touch, be on point with my health and everything. I take my lunch every single day. I typically fast the entire morning, and then I eat a lunch. And I always make for sure that I can go to bed between a specific time. And I always make for sure that I don't eat a heavy carb meal, because that does affect me. And I've tested the waters. I've fasted through dinner. I've made a high carb meal. I've done light carb, zero carb, and zero to light carb is the best thing for me. And everybody's different. Everybody's going to react to different things. So the one thing I like about this ring is that it tracks my health, my resting heart rate. It tells me how to take on my day. It grades me on my sleep score. What else? It kind of gives me the rhythm, the tracking throughout the whole week, the whole entire month. And it tells me, like I said, to take it easy, to go work out. But yeah, it's real cool and real awesome how the technology that we have today, we can easily track so many different things. And I think that, my personal opinion, because I'm into biohacking a lot, I think that this technology that's evolving into what it is today, I think that you're going to start seeing people living longer, because they're going to be more aware of these things that you can track. My biggest thing is track what you can hack, or hack what you can track, something like that. But yeah. So,
I love it. And this is great stuff, man. I think if people knew the metrics that were important to them, they would be able to create better habits to shift those metrics, right? And I know that's what we're going to be talking about today: limiting beliefs, habits, different things like that. But I know Naveen Jain. Do you know who he is? I think you.
Oh yeah.
Picture. What's his company? What's his company called?
His is. Golly, what is
it's it? Like it's the microbiome.
Yeah, it's Viome.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's crazy. I mean,
so it's like really getting that custom nutrition and custom like design stuff that we need to be able to shift our well-being, because our gut is so important, man. And a lot of people we've eaten processed foods over the years, different things like that. So being able to take tests and have like your Aura Ring and things that are able to give us information, even like brain waves, right? When monks meditate, they can get into the gamma brain waves, which is like this like super mind, super conscious mind, and they're able to get into that state simply from practicing meditation. But a lot of people just don't even know how do I get to alpha, which is a good brainwave, and theta as well. We're constantly in beta, which is like the fight or flight brainwave. And so if we wear like a brainwave monitoring device, then we can tell, hey, how peaceful are we actually? And we're going into this age where we can get that kind of information like way easier than, in the past it would have been like $10,000 to have a device that could tell us that kind of stuff. Today it's like a couple hundred. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. And and like my biggest thing is like if I eat something and I feel good, I will most likely eat it again. But if I eat something and I'm ready to crash after like 15, 20, 30 minutes, that's probably not a meal that I need to probably take on again. And the thing is you're not going to be able to avoid all these, like you're going to be exposed to a lot of food that you might not be able to control, like when you're on vacation or trips or whatever.
Yep.
You just need to prep with the specific vitamins and everything, like a daily detox when you go on these trips to take before you eat the food or whatever. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. I'm always watching what I'm eating because I know firsthand what it's like to neglect your eating habits. And like I say, I mean, I was given the chance to live, and I hate to say it like that because that was like, there's a saying that goes, when your body's whispering, you better listen to it before it screams. Dang. So my body was always whispering to me over the years, and then it screamed. Yep. And I could have prevented that if I would have just listened. So now whenever I see certain patterns or see specific things going on in my body, I start thinking, what was it? Everything. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a health expert. Definitely go see the doctor if you need to go. But find ways to live an optimal life.
Yeah. And what's great about this though, man, is like you broke through those patterns of the past. And typically patterns are self-sabotage, numbing, running, avoiding, or just not knowing what we're doing that is hurting ourselves, having these belief systems that say, I have to do some things a certain way. I have to work harder and push myself beyond my limits at the gym and, 7 days a week and kill myself, or, I have to grind my face off and things like that. And again, there's a time and place for those beliefs to come in. But I think the thing I wanted to dive into as well is around your health. Like, when did you start saying, hey, limiting beliefs are a big part of the journey? And maybe it's health, maybe you started noticing it there, but it really came into effect in entrepreneurship. When did recognizing limiting beliefs really start to become a priority for you?
Well, limiting beliefs doesn't necessarily go on the whole thing around health. The whole thing with health, like I said again, I can't say it enough. I'm not a health expert. Right. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. You have to do whatever works for you.
Yep.
There's so many different diets out there today: keto, paleo, fasting, caveman diet, carnivore. You got to do whatever works for you.
Sure.
My whole thing was, growing up, I always had to eat these specific foods, but little did I know that those foods were what led me to get overweight. And you just have to figure out what works best for you, work out regularly, and just kind of figure out what works best for you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's you are your own boss. Like I said, you are the CEO of yourself. You control whatever you do. But the whole thing with the limiting beliefs digs deeper into the whole thing with whenever I was growing up, I was actually a DNF student, and I will gladly admit it. Whereas before, I was embarrassed because I thought I was a failure, and I remember I would get D's and F's. I would get grounded by my parents, and then I remember I got like a 69 on the report card, and they allowed me not to be grounded for like 6 weeks, and because I was 1 point away. And so, and it's kind of crazy because in our world today, if you fail in school, you're looked at as a failure. But one thing that people don't realize is that you look at Michael Jordan, Walt Disney, Colonel Sanders. There's so many different people that all they did was fail. And they learned from those failures, and that's what got them where they are today. And so I am comfortable with being uncomfortable and failing, because if we don't fail, we're never going to learn anything. And I'm still on the journey. I'm still learning. And it's like it took me 9 years to realize I need to find out what I need to do. I need to connect with somebody. I need them to mentor me so we can get the ball rolling. And so basically going back to the grades, DNF, I graduated with exactly a 2.0 GPA, which if you had a 1.9, you weren't graduating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got out. I went to college. I went part-time for an entire year, and I quit. And I was just kind of job hop, and I didn't know what I was wanting to do. And I thought that going to college was the way to success and to making a lot of money.
Yep.
I'm not in no way against college at all. But I do feel that a lot of people, kids that are getting out of high school, I feel like they're being pressured to go to it, and they don't really have a clear idea of what they want to do. So they're just going and they're rushing, and they kind of get burned out. They don't know what to do. And I was reading a statistic on like New York Times that 73% of people that graduate college don't end up getting a job in their field.
Wow.
And like I said, it's there if you need it. If you want to become a doctor, by all means, go be get the degree to be a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, a teacher. But don't go just because you think that's what it's going to take to be successful. We live in a world where we live in what's called the information age. We have so much information at our tips. I have never met so many people in my life until the internet came around, social media. I connected with a lot of people. My biggest fans are people I don't even know or haven't even met. And it's kind of crazy. So yeah, and like I was saying, I was always told that I needed to make good grades so I could go to college and graduate and be successful. And it's one of those things where I didn't follow that route. I ended up going to school to work on cars, and I worked on cars for a little bit. I'm now a service advisor. I love my job. I love the people, but it's not really allowing me the time I need to work on my goals and everything. And sometimes you just have to say, okay, this is enough. I know that I need to transition into something that will allow me to have more time, because my biggest things is favorite quotes is you can always make more money, but you can never get your time back.
Yep.
And I mean, next year I turn 40. I'm like, and not only that, but like my biggest thing is eventually we're all going to die. And my biggest thing is I want to leave a legacy. Like whenever I die, I want people to remember me for certain things and everything. And that's why I'm grinding. I got my podcast going. And it's just like, I may not be the expert, but I'm interviewing the experts that are already living a supercharged life. And I'm going to write a book, and then I'm going to write another book. I'm going to start speaking on stages. I want to speak to the masses. That's what I enjoy. I love going to events and meeting new people.
Yep.
So yeah, and another thing, going back to maybe going off topic, but I'll give you a prime example of something that happened the other day. I'm always testing days when to promote my podcast, right? So I've tested on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I don't really care about the downloads or anything. And I pretty much found my sweet spot. And I think a lot of people get discouraged because they don't get a lot of likes or comments on the things that they post, but they never know who they're inspiring. And it's crazy because a couple of weeks ago, I launched a podcast and I announced it on Facebook. I didn't get like one like. I maybe got 1 or 2 likes, no comments. And within 1 hour, I had 25 downloads.
Wow.
So it's crazy, because don't get discouraged by that, because you never know who you're going to inspire. Not only that, but I've had probably countless people private message me and say, hey, because of you, I got through my day. Hey, thanks for posting this. I needed to see that. So yeah, you never know who you're going to touch.
Kevin, how did you keep that fire lit within you to be successful? Like how do you keep it lit? Because I think a lot of people find that difficult to stay motivated when they're on the journey of entrepreneurship, and especially being willing to get uncomfortable. How did you stay so motivated, man?
Well, this is actually a chapter of my book that I'm writing. It's called Burning Desire. There's so many people. You see like all these famous athletes, these famous people, and everybody's all, hooting and hollering for them and everything. And, oh, I'm your biggest fan and everything. But they're not looking at what they had to go through and endure to get where they are. And anybody can say like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a baseball player, basketball player, football player. But if you're not putting in the work, you're never going to get there. And that's where the burning desire comes in. At you have to have that fire inside of you that's going to keep you going and going and going. If you don't have any, then you're just going to give up, and you're never going to get there. And you're always going to wonder, what if? So I didn't start getting my burning desire until I started getting my podcast up and going and everything before it even launched. I was just, and one thing I personally like having a coach because he can hold me accountable. It's easy for me to do something on my own and just say, "Oh, I'm too tired. I'm not going to do it." But I have the accountability. I'm there. When I came home on Thursdays, I was tired, but that fire lit up inside of me once I started talking to you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just what keeps me going. And now that I have the podcast up and going, it's just being consistent with it, delivering it every single week. And now that I've pretty much got it on idle right now, I'm just going to keep growing and growing. And now I'm working on my book, and I want to grow.
Kevin, you're a powerful connector too. Having a coach is great, and I think that made a big difference for you in getting your podcast launched and just being around inspiring people, mentors, people who've had success. Tell us a little bit more about how connecting with other people, especially other people who are fired up, other people who are motivated on the journey, maybe even a couple steps ahead of you, how that played a role in your journey, man.
Gosh, yeah. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and the people you hang around and associate yourself with is who you basically become, ultimately become. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that will just hang around the people that live in their small town or whatever, or maybe in another state. But once I really found out what I wanted to do, I just reach out to them and just send them a like their page or send them a friend request, and then just send them a message. And anybody can do that, but it's those small things that count that gets their attention. Like I said, anybody can friend them, anybody can like their stuff. But it's whenever you find out, oh, it's his birthday, you reach out to them. Oh, hey, happy birthday. Oh, hey, I went to that event. That was a great speech. And not only that, but there's a guy who I interviewed 2 or 3 weeks ago, Mike Stesniak. I found out he launched a podcast. I blasted it on my Facebook. Yeah. I liked it. I subscribed. I wrote a review. I shared it. And that, that's building up the relationship and everything. And so, yeah, I think that you need to figure out what it is you want to do. Find out the people, figure out the people that are already doing it and just kind of shadow them. And even if you can't, meet them or connect with them right away, just start hanging around groups that are local, get to events, and just make the connections, because eventually you're going to run into somebody that's going to know somebody that's a prime example. So, yeah, his name's Cody Lee. He is on, I already forget what it's called. But anyways, it's a show that's on NBC, and he was able to come to the event at Thrive in Vegas because the founder of Vegas knew somebody that knew his family. So you never know who, and I actually interviewed someone else a while back, and he says, it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, but it's who knows you, So I live by that stuff, and like I said, you just have to get around the people that are already crushing it and just, mentor them. And not only that, but to build the relationship even more, whenever they launch a book, buy the book. If they're selling a t-shirt, buy the t-shirt, post it on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, or whatever. And just support, give, value. Like what Gary Vaynerchuk says. He's got a book, jab, right hook, So give, ask,
Yeah.
So
Kevin,
yeah.
when you were first on your journey, how did you know who to connect with? Were you just looking for other motivated people, other successful people, other people who were just actively engaged on social media? What were the criteria that you looked for to say, I want to connect with this person?
Well, Facebook can be a two-edged sword. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people love it. I actually love it because when I first started out on Facebook, I was just seeing all this negativity from all the people I knew from like high school and everything. And I figured out this crazy thing. There's a button that says unfollow. So over the next couple of years, I would just unfollow, but I would stay friends so they wouldn't get mad. I would just stay friends, but unfollow. And then before you know it, all the stuff that I like and enjoy and like reading about and watching their videos started overtaking it. So when you look at my Facebook, it's got like stuff from, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cole Hatter, Mike Stesniak, Brian K. Wright, Mike Gillespie, all these people that have made an impact in my life. That's all I see. So whenever I get on my phone in the morning, that's all I see. Positivity. There's no negativity. And it's just, I'm not really into the drama and the negativity. I steer away from that as much as possible.
Amen. And you know what else I've recognized, Kevin, is even the people who like keep posting that negative stuff, drama and stuff, like people from high school. I've gotten to the point now where I've had a 5,000 person friends list for a while. And in the beginning, like when I was like, oh, who do I cut? How do I decide who's going to stay on my friends list? 'Cause I need to open up room for new people I'm connecting with, experts, teachers, leaders, people who are changing the world. Like those are the people that I want to have around myself. And so I look back and I'm like, okay, where were these like old jobs that I had? And I just had friendships because, just because I wanted to stay connected with them, or maybe my ego wanted to have a big friends list. And in the beginning, I was like, uh-oh, like, can I really just unfriend these people? Like, is that okay? And so it was really difficult for me in the beginning. But just over time, I've been like, well, you know what? Like today, I don't talk to you. You don't post anything inspirational. You don't use Facebook at all. I love you. Bye. It's like such a like if you want to come back into my life, if we have a reason to be connected, if we share similar values, then okay, I'll engage the conversation. I'll open up my friends list. But other than that, like there's no reason just to keep having people in our network because we share a common past. A good friend of mine, Jonathan England, says just because you share a common past doesn't mean that you have to share a common future. Like, in fact, if you are someone who's driven and out to create something special, you won't have a common future with a lot of people who have a common past because they want to keep doing their old things, old ways, drinking, partying, whatever, limiting beliefs. And so find people who have a common future with you. And it sounds like you really got around people who had a common future of success, fulfillment, happiness, health, family, travel, freedom, all that great stuff.
Yeah, it is. And not only that, but going back to social media, everything is over. Once you start getting more and more friends and you start getting more and more popular, you'll start getting all these messages in your inbox, join my MLM or join my business or whatever.
Yep.
And it gets a little bit overwhelming. And I mean, it's just, you have to like weed them out and be like, I'm not interested. But thank you anyways. We can definitely be friends. And then what really kind of makes me laugh is like, the moment you tell them no, it's like, boom, they're gone, they
Yep.
don't support you anymore. But the moment you buy into whatever they're doing, oh, they're your best friend. And, it's nothing against them. It's just, I narrowed down what I want to do. And it wasn't easy. I'll be honest with you, dating back to 2010, 2011, I was doing all these MLMs.
Sure.
I'd go to these meetings and they would claim, oh, you're going to make all this money. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just, it wasn't for me. And I personally am not a big fan of.
Statistically, Kevin, like the percentage of people that succeed in network marketing, I think I read somewhere it's like 0.4% actually make a profit in network marketing. But they don't tell you that statistic in the beginning. Like if you want it bad enough, you'll freaking get it. You'll create that. But a lot of people get into it with the aspiration and the desire to make that money. And I think it's really important that we just find something that we resonate with, that we value, that we would do even if we didn't get paid, man. And you, like podcasting for you, it's like, I love personal development. I love sharing this message. I love interviewing and having great conversations with people. That is passion. That is purpose, man. I think when people find that, it changes everything.
Yeah. And it's something, like I said, something against MLM companies. It's just, if I'm not passionate about it, I'm not going to do it. And not only that, but it seems like they're your best friend until you say no, and then they're gone.
Yep.
And it's like, my thing is like, if you're going to come to me and you're going to approach me with a product or a service, you need to provide some sort of value to me from the beginning. Yeah. Like, who was it? Andy Frisella, he said at Thrive, he said, people will always do business with people they know, like, and trust. Yep. If I don't know you, what are the odds that I'm going to do business with you? If I don't trust you, what are the odds I'm not going to do business with you? If I don't like you, what am I going to do business with you? So like when people come to me like, I don't know you, and you're presenting me with a product that I don't have any interest in.
Right.
But that's just me personally. I'm all about, I need to know you first, and what can you do for me?
Yeah. And I think that's like, how do we create win-wins? I think that's a big part of entrepreneurship, right? Because like when you're shouting people out when you're buying their books, when you're buying their shirts, when you're going to their events and buying the tickets and stuff. Like, you're saying, hey, I want to help you win. And then they're pouring into you. They're saying, hey, here's how you get success. Here's how you can do what I did. Here's how you can be happy, fulfilled, or get what you want. And I think it's important to surround ourselves with people like that and find people who share that common value with us. You know, for you, it's value, delivering value, keeping people inspired, family. Like, those are all important things for you. So having a conversation around that, and for people to take the time to look at your feed, Kevin, and say, hey, what does Kevin actually like? What does he value? And to build a relationship on that. Instead of, hey, how can I get out of Kevin? How can I, sell my product or service? Find people who you align with on values, and then whether or not they join your company or buy your product or service doesn't matter, because you align on values. They're your people, so just building a relationship with them anyways. Sure, there may be an opportunity to share what you're working on, your business, etc. But even if it never came up, you'd still value the experience because they're a good person. You want to have more time with them.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
So let's talk about what kind of limiting beliefs you see come up a lot for people in the online space, beginning entrepreneurs. What did you overcome? Let's talk about some limiting beliefs that we can crush.
Man, there's so many. Like, well, first off, like our parents, friends, family, whatever, they don't want to see you fail. So they're like, oh, hey, don't do that. You might fail or whatever. Just stay in the safe zone. Stay trapped in a box. Don't get out of the comfort zone. But it's like, it's kind of crazy because you see like a lot of things on the internet, movies or whatever. Like, oh man, I would love to live on the beach, but it's like, what are you doing? What are your daily habits that are going to get you closer to living on the beach? Nothing against people that work. I work. When I come home, I'm busting my tail. I do reserve specific times that I dedicate to my wife because I love her with all my heart. But like, I'm working on my podcast. I'm, working on the book. I'm always growing. And it's just, and like I said, what are your daily habits? What you do after your 9 to 5 determines your future. What you do on your off days determines your future. If you're just watching TV all the time, you're not going to get very far. You're going to stay in the same situation. You're still going to get apartments or houses. It's just, I want to live on a beach. I don't know where. St. Thomas sticks out. I'm going all out. I'm going to go to St. Thomas.
Let's go, baby.
I just hearing the water, seeing the water, just like it's relaxing and gets me motivated. But yeah, I would say probably the fear is what people are steering me away from. And the whole thing with you have to go to college to be successful. Yes, you can be successful with college, but it's not a necessity. I'll give you a prime example. My friend Mike Gillespie, he lives up in Canada. He graduated college. He got his job and everything, working for the government, making a lot of money. And another limiting belief is you need a lot of money to start a business. That's not necessarily the scenario in today's world.
Yep.
He wanted to get into real estate. He didn't have the money. So he went to a networking event, connected with this guy. He built the relationship. He nurtured it. And before you know it, the guy hired him to renovate the houses before he either rent them or sold them out or whatever. He saved that money and he just kept saving and saving. And then he invested it in one property. And this is all while having his job. And then before you know it, it just keeps compounding and compounding to where he's able to leave his job, his safe, secure job, to take on something that's going to provide him an income producing asset where he's not going to have to exchange his time for money, So, but yeah, to be honest with you, he's the guy who I really admire a lot. He is the one that is rooted to my mindset right now. He's the one who's helped me get out there, explore, can make connections and everything. So he's the one that it's rooted. Everything's rooted to him. And the whole thing with the podcast, Brian K. Wright, love you, bro, if you're watching. But yeah, he's the one that got me with the vision to creating the podcast. And he is the one that connected me with you. So connections are everywhere and powerful.
Freaking A. Love you, Brian. I know he was out there earlier today. Not sure if he's still out there, but Brian K. Wright, another amazing human being. Go check out Success Profiles, his radio show, his show. He has some freaking epic people on. I'm like, how did you get these interviews? Like such awesome stuff. So this is great, man. Great
Yeah.
conversation. Also, I want to ask you about when we were talking, when we first started working together, the conversation was, just to make sure that you are spending enough time with your wife, and then also like this aspect of building the podcast and building the business and juggling those two, man. I think a lot of people might have a difficulty of saying, how do I continue to spend time with my family and give them the love that they deserve and build my dream? How did you approach that, man?
Well, I think time is probably most, it's the most valuable commodity in today's world. Like I said before, you can always make more money, but you can never get your time back. And I think that a lot of people, whenever like an opportunity approaches them, they automatically back off and put their guard up and say, "Oh, I don't have time." But the biggest thing that I do is I like to write the 24 hours down, what I'm doing at every single hour, every minute. If I see that I'm on Facebook for 2 hours, okay, that's 2 hours I to build my podcast, build my real estate business or TV for 4 hours on Saturday. I'm not saying eliminate TV, but narrow it down to 3, 4, 2, 1 hour. And you're gonna actually, before you know it, and not only that, but you go out to eat or you go to whatever it is, carnival or whatever, is do I need to go this? And another thing that I learned from John Marone at the Unleash You event was he said, is what I'm doing going to get me closer to my goals, or is it going to pull me further away from my goals? So I kind of look at that right now. But yeah, I think that if people can write down what they do every single hour of the day, they can really reflect on how they can free up time to do the things that can really take them to that next level.
Dude, that's such a really powerful, practical exercise, man. I love it. And for everyone who's listening or watching right now, like if you feel like you don't have enough time, like instantly what popped in my mind is I know a lot of people who are on the entrepreneurial journey, they feel like they don't have enough time to do it all, especially sales, right? Like entrepreneurs at the beginning of the journey, they're like, I don't know how to make sales. I'm not making the income that I want to make. And so tracking your time and looking what percentage of your time is actually dedicated to lead generation, what percentage of your time is actually dedicated to having sales conversations, and even networking, connection calls, whatever that might be. Like if you are not spending the majority of your time doing that, like the priorities are wrong. And especially a lot of people, priorities are wrong in my opinion, like especially if you want to create success fast, go out and serve people, go out and solve problems, go out and find unmet needs, people who are struggling, who are suffering, and be able to resolve that and serve them and create the benefit, create the healing, create the value. And when you do that enough times, like you'll have a list of testimonials, you'll have massive confidence of how you can serve people, and then you'll be able to charge whatever you want to charge because you can like demonstrate those results. That's something Susan Allen and I were talking today earlier about, for people who are beginning coaches, especially beginning entrepreneurs, go provide that result, go get those results, man.
Yeah, totally, man. And it's just like I said, I work a lot of hours, but I still find time to work on my podcast, do the interview, and I only allow a specific time frame to come home, interview, and do whatever, and that's it. I'm not going to. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that say hustle, hustle, hustle. You'll get plenty of sleep when you die, but I don't really look at that mentality because I want to live a long, healthy, happy life.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand at the beginning you might have to hustle a little bit, but that's just every person's different and unique.
Yeah, and I think it's also experimentation. Find out what are your boundaries, what are your limits. I think just really listening to those whispers of your body. Like at first, we might not even be in tune with those whispers, and we might push ourselves past that point, and we might get sick, we might get unwell, we might get burned out. but don't keep doing it. If you do it once, say, oh, ha, ding, ding, ding. It's telling me, life's telling me, my body's telling me this is not the way, you know? And so at that point, we get to say, how can we be more efficient? How can we be more resourceful? And I think the human beings have such infinite potential, but people just get comfortable with the status quo. And so challenging that status quo, being resourceful, asking for help, seeking the guidance, the mentorship, the coaching to get us to where we want to go, man, that's such a way to crush those limiting beliefs that might be stopping us from creating success.
Yeah, totally, man. I love it, man. And every single thing that I'm preaching is everything that I'm preaching is what I've learned from my mentor, coach,
Yep.
and all the people who I'm connected with. You always have something to learn from everybody. It may be good, it may be bad, but you can learn something from everybody. Dude. So yeah.
That's right. That's right, bro. So you got your speaking career that you're excited to be building, especially in the coming years, man. Let's talk about like practical actions that you're going to be taking. Books are great, right? Having a book is a business card that's super valuable, man. I started in Toastmasters to practice my speaking. I want to know for you, Kevin, what are some different places that you want to just get your foot in the door and start speaking at? Have you done any research on that? Do you have anything that you're looking forward to around that?
I actually just joined a mastermind that's put on by the Unleash You family up there in Delaware that I connected with. So I'm excited to dive into that, see what we're going to come up with. I know that I'm not going to be speaking on stages to thousands of people right off the bat, and I'm willing to speak to whoever it is, even if it's just through a call or whatever. I know I'm going to have to eventually dive into it, and I'm excited about it.
So, well, dude, you have
to and as far as actionable. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that the actionable steps that I'm taking is just, like I said, I don't have the direction on, how to do everything and everything. Sure. So that's why I joined this mastermind, and I'm going to be connected with people that are already speaking already.
Crushing it. So, yeah. Crushing it. I love it, man. I love it. And I again, I just appreciate your realness on where you're at and like what those next steps are. For me, I spoke at Rotary before, Rotary clubs. You can go to like BNI is pretty difficult to get into. They usually want their own members to be speaking there, but like Chamber of Commerce of your local city, you can get in there, get your foot in there. And just for me, I found my opportunities to speak on stage when I volunteered at places before and got connected with the local community. So find if there's like a local convention that happens, or if there's a certain group, like you said, the Unleash You. Shout out to Michael Faber and all that he's doing. Great stuff. Love that guy. Just an awesome guest on the marathon as well. But find the causes, the groups in your city, hopefully locally, that meet regularly, that meet once a week, once every other week, once every month, and find out how you can go volunteer, add value there. And then for me, I started with being a secretary in Toastmasters. I said, hey, I'm going to take notes and keep track of what's happening during the meetings. Then from there, I was able to get opportunities to be the vice president of education, scheduling everyone, right? Because I kept showing up. I kept being consistent. And ultimately, I became the president of the club, like leading the club. And it was only because I showed up and I was willing to do kind of the lower tasks and work my way up to the higher level responsibilities and leadership.
Yeah, I love that advice, and that's one thing is that always be willing to take people's advice and always be willing to ask for help. I think that a lot of people are scared to ask for help.
Sure.
And like one of my things is unless you ask, the answer is always going to be no. So
yep.
So yeah, definitely ask questions and and just go out there, dive into it, and take that leap of faith.
Yeah, man. Kevin, you're a guy who a lot of people want to say yes to just because of your energy, your personality. What do you think it is about you that makes people want to be around you and want to support you and want to help you out?
Well, I'm a little like, I have what am I trying to say? I act different around different people. If I'm quiet, it's because usually I'm either tired or the energy isn't there and I can't, and it's just like when I go to events, I'm going to the workshops, I'm, networking, meeting new people. And the biggest thing, like how I make connections is like when I was at Unleash You and Thrive, I just go to people, hey, nice to meet you. So what do you do? And then before you know it, like Amber Furman, I met her at Thrive. She was she was an attorney, and here I am. I'm in the automotive business, and I was like, well, we didn't really have much to say. But the moment she said, "Oh, I'm planning on launching a podcast," boom, I'm looking to launch a podcast, and then boom, the sparks went up, and then we connected, and we're still connected and everything. We help each other grow, and it's just the energy that you put off is what's going to ultimately, in my opinion, going to be the response that the other people are going to get back to you. And a lot of people are rude, but that's just who they are. I'm very happy and willing to help people, and I'm always willing to be there if you ever need me.
Did you play sports growing up, man?
Football.
Yeah.
Well, I played baseball, elementary school, and then I played football, junior high, and high school.
All 4 years of high school?
Not the fourth year, because I wanted to get out at the 11:25 class, and just because I was ready to be done with it. I was just tired of it, and I knew that if I was going to play my fourth year, I was going to have to go till like 3:30, 3:35, whatever. So yeah, and plus, I was decent in football, but what's crazy is that I wasn't in near the shape in high school that I am right now.
Wow.
So, and not only that, but I'm in the shape I'm at right now because of the habits that I have versus back then. You're young, dumb, stupid. You don't really care what you eat or what your lifestyle is like because you're young, But as you get older, you have to focus more on these things and pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, that's awesome. I find for me, like I had a sports background, right? We had Aaron Seitz earlier on today was talking about competition and healthy competition and instilling that in youth. And I think that there's a competitive drive to win at some certain level that a lot of athletes cultivate. And I think that's an important part for me, for my journey of really having drive to do these 12-hour marathons, drive to be successful. And I feel like part of that athleticism and the desire to win has also helped shape you and your motivation and your desire to be a champion. Like you were a part of these sports where it was celebrated to do well and to be effective, to achieve the goals. And I found that for me, like there's a big correlation there.
Yeah, and what's crazy is going back to my high school days is I was overweight. I was always the third or second to the last whenever we did the mile or the quarter mile run. And I'll never forget, and this still goes through my head to this day. We were running the mile, and I gave up, and I was just laying down. I was breathing real hard, and I was literally going to quit. And I was like, I'm going to quit because that's obviously the easy thing to do. And I'll never forget. His name was Coach Brooks. He said, if you quit right now, it will only make you a quitter in life because you think this is hard. Life is even harder.
Wow.
So that just sticks with me, and I live off that. So.
That's hardcore, man.
Yeah.
I think you need to get that somehow modeled into a phrase to teach people, because that's like such a powerful thing to ingrain early on, or at least even now. Like you think this is hard. If someone says like, "Oh, it's hard to go make sales. It's hard to provide for my family. It's hard for whatever." It's like you think this is hard. Life is going to throw even harder challenges at you. So you can either quit now and be a quitter for the rest of your life, or you can be someone who keeps showing up. And thankfully for you, you had a great coach, a great mentor, a great person, father figure kind of thing, who was able to be there for you when you were feeling defeated, when you're feeling like you can't go any further, and he believed in you and like really challenged you to keep going, man. That's freaking powerful.
Yeah, totally. And this goes back into my earlier days growing up. Like my stepdad is basically my dad. He was there for me since like 4 years old. And I always thought that maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe that's why he's so mean to me and everything. And now I understand, because all that of him being hard on me, it grew me into who I am today. If you don't ever have the discipline, you're always going to be, mediocre. And I hate to use that term, but you got to have the discipline. And the whole thing, and like I said, I'm on this journey, and it's not easy. It's freaking hard. Everybody sees these Instagram pictures, Facebook pictures of people in their mansions driving their exotic cars.
Yep.
It's hard. It's tough. Like I get off work and I'm tired. I could easily go watch TV, do whatever, but I bust my tail, and it's hard. And I mean, there's been friction between me and the wife every now and then. Not nothing bad or anything, because of what I want to do, and she believes in me, and she understands that in order for my dream, which I'm building our dreams, that there's going to have to be lots of ups and downs and everything, and it's tough. Everybody sees the iceberg that's above the water, but they don't see what's underneath the water.
Man.
The struggle, the failure, the criticism from the friends and family. And that's another thing, is I think that a lot of people value others' opinions, and that's what's holding them back, and the judgment of their parents and everything. Yeah. And it's just like, look, like I said before, until your opinions start paying the bills, I don't care, And so it's just, so yeah, it's just like, just be yourself. You're living your life, So
yeah,
I just think that, and I got that from Gary Vaynerchuk. That's old school Gary Vaynerchuk. Valuing the opinions of others is, it's going to hold you back. So yeah.
It's gold. It's gold. Dude, I really acknowledge you, Kevin, because from the very, very first time we met, I could really sense this, that you're a student of life, and you're a student of a lot of other people, what they've done to create success. You have so many analogies, so many examples, Michael Jordan, Gary Vaynerchuk, like all these people and life lessons that they have shared through their teaching. So I really acknowledge you for being a sponge and like being hungry to learn that stuff, and even going to conferences and sharing what people shared there. Andy Frisella, like all these people, I see you as someone who cares so much that you're like, how do I actually put this into my life and share this in my life and teach other people? It's important for me to keep sharing the philosophy, keep making a difference for others, but also to really integrate it into my own life and to live it, dude. So I hear that coming through for you, man, and it's awesome. So keep up the great work, Kevin. And we want to know, how can we stay connected with you? What are the next steps? How can people tune into the podcast? What can they do, man?
Yeah, so I'm not real huge into social media space. I'm just pretty much on Facebook. You can just look me up under Kevin Castillo. You'll see my Life Supercharged banner in the background. Yep. My podcast is lifesupercharged.podbean.com. I'm working on getting the website up. So yeah, you can just connect me with there. I'd love to, connect with people that may need direction. And if you need help in anything specific, I'm pretty sure I can connect you with someone that's definitely crushing it in that area. Because that's how I met you. It's how I met Brian K. Wright. So yeah.
Dude, I love it. So Kevin Castillo, they can search for you there, and that's Kevin, Kevin Castillo, Castillo. And Kevin, I just want to wrap it up with a final takeaway, man. Just bring it home, what you want to really leave our audience with, because you're just a powerhouse, man. What do you want to finish this epic interview off with, bro?
Well, like I said, I'm still on this journey. I still have a job. Nothing against jobs. It's just not for me. I want freedom, more time with family.
Yep.
When you realize that you only see your wife for about an hour and a half a day, it hurts a lot. So whatever you want, you got to have the burning desire. You got to get rid of the limiting beliefs. You got to focus on the time. How much time are you actually spending on things that aren't getting you closer to your goals? And you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you got to accept failure. You're going to have to do it. I know a lot of people are raised thinking that failure is bad, but it's actually good. First attempt in learning, fail. Just fail, and you're going to eventually win. It's kind of like a baby that when it starts trying to crawl and walk, it falls down, but it keeps getting up, and it falls. It keeps getting up, just like a kid that's trying to ride a bike. He's on training wheels, and then when you take him off, he falls, but he gets back up, falls, gets back up, because they know that if they keep getting up and doing it, they're eventually going to master that craft. Yeah. But yeah, just dude, and definitely gratitude. Be thankful for what you have, because if you're not thankful for what you already have, you're not going to be able to get what you really want in life. And read. I need to get better with this. I pretty much listen to podcasts every single morning on my way to work, on my way home. They inspire me. And patience. I struggle with it. You got to be patient and just go for whatever you want in life. Or time is limited, so just live your life to the max so you can live a supercharged life. So yeah.
100%. Kevin, you are a freaking champion, brother. Massive gratitude for you being here, sharing with our audience. Massive love for you, man. I'm so excited to see your 2020 just blow open, and you create all this more success, dude. You have momentum. You have all the right thoughts, and you're sharing all the right things, and you're showing up, and you're kicking butt on social media, man. So it's just a matter of freaking time until the water, the geysers just come gushing in, come flowing in, man. I'll leave us with a paraphrasing of Napoleon Hill when he says, when the riches come, right? When the riches come, that could be financial riches, spiritual health, time freedom, whatever it is. When the riches come, they'll come so fast that you'll wonder where they had been hiding all of those lean years. So whoever's going through some lean years right now, just know that when you keep showing up, when you keep doing the steps, when you keep asking for help, when you keep getting uncomfortable, those riches, they will be coming. So keep showing up. And Kevin, I appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you so much, man. It's an honor. Stay blessed, brother.
Promise. We'll see you soon.
Okay.